Hello viewers, very warm good evening from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue. You're watching QTV. My name is Aliou Cisse and we are back here for the daily live debates that we bring to you among candidates aspiring to represent their constituencies in the upcoming parliamentary election. That's 9th of this month, that's next Saturday. And today we are looking at Brikama South constituency in the Brikama administrative area. And when you talk about the Brikama South constituency, this is a constituency which is divided into two wards. You have the Suba ward and Marakisa ward. And among the big communities in that particular constituency, you have Manduwar, Kiti, Medina, Bakar, Sambuya, Marakisa, Dasilame, Dimbaya, and Busor, among other communities, are all in this Brikama South constituency, which currently has a total of 37,720 registered voters as of the last presidential election held on 4th of December in the country. And in this particular upcoming parliamentary election, those contesting in this in the Brikama South constituency are the incumbent Lamin J. Sane, who was elected in 2017 under the UDP ticket, and also we have Lamin Jaju, an independent candidate. We also have Momodu King Koli of the Gambia Democratic Congress Party. We have Mansour Sow, an independent candidate, Buba Mane, an independent candidate, and Malanding B. Jabang of the National People's Party. Well, in the studio here, we have already Lamin J. Sane, who is the sitting MP of that particular constituency in the studio. Mr. Sane, good to have you on the program. And also in the studio is Mansour Sow, who is contesting as an independent candidate. Mansour is also in the studio. And hopefully we'll be joined by two other candidates in the names of Lamin Jaju, an independent candidate, and Momodu King Koli of the Gambia Democratic Congress Party. Well, Buba Mane, who is also an independent candidate, and Malanding B. Jabang haven't responded to our invitation. Just by a way of information, in 2017, we saw Lamin J. Sane elected to represent the people of his constituency after polling 6,316 votes. In that particular election, Mr. Sane was challenged by Sana Bojang of APRC, Simon Peter Demba of Gambia Democratic Congress Party, Tijan Lum of PDS Party, and Samuel Kai Jaju as an independent candidate. Well, before we get into the debate proper, we just have to read out the rules governing this particular debate to the debaters. Well, like you already know, I mean, this debate shall last for 1 hour 30 minutes. The debate shall include short breaks where necessary. Each of the debaters will be given 2 minutes to make an opening statement. The same applies for closing remarks. Candidates can ask each other questions and answer the moderator's follow-ups. Debaters are to address each other by Mr., Miss, or Mrs., followed by the surname. The questions are independently prepared by QTV. And then there will be no rebuttals of the opening and closing statement, but there will be 1 minute rebuttals for any of the candidates to counter any claim made by his opponent. There will be a 10-minute phone-in call for the people of the Brikama South constituency to phone in and ask questions to any of the candidates. And we expect the debaters at the end of the debate to acknowledge each other with a handshake or an elbow bump. Well, you remember that you're watching QTV, the Gambia's first private TV station, and we are broadcasting live from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue, just right behind the Constituents building. Like I said, my name is Aliou Cisse. I'll be moderating this session. Like we do, I will start with Honorable the sitting MP, Lamin J. Sane, just to give us a 2 minutes opening remarks and just tell us who is Lamin J. Sane.
Thank you so much, the moderator, Aliou Cisse. I am Lamin J. Sane, Honorable Lamin J. Sane, the current sitting member of the National Assembly member for Brikama South. I was born and brought up in Brikama, school in Brikama, and I completed my high school in Muslim, 98. From there, I went to GDTA in connection with Okanakan University to have a program on development studies. Upon completion, I was also subject to a lot of tertiary education in terms of IT and others. Then from there, June 98, I was appointed by Samasam Federation under the Child Fund International as a social worker. I worked from 99 up to 2016 as a social worker. the same time, I was a youth and a sport advocate. I was the founding father of Brikama United. I served in that capacity almost 14 years too. I was also the zonal manager for Brikama for almost 9 good years. And I was the only manager who has won zonal in Brikama. And again, I was also very proud to have 2 players that represented the Gambia in the AFCONs by the name Dembo Dabo and Peter and this guy, James Gomez from Bajonkoto. They all passes through me. They play when I was with the football administration. That's Lamin Sane.
Thank you very much, Lamin J. Sane, the sitting National Assembly member for Brikama South constituency, who is seeking re-election. By the way, he is one of the 17 sitting MP retained by the United Democratic Party to seek re-election on 9th April. I will now bring in Mansour Sow, who is contesting as an independent candidate. Mansour, in 2 minutes, opening statement. And who is Mansour Sow?
Thank you very much, Mr. Cisse. Mansour Sow is from Kombo Das Lame, Brikama South. I started my education, primary education in Das Lame, St. Patrick Lower Basic School. Then upper basic school in Das Lame, upper. Then I proceed to Sifo Senior Secondary School. I was a pure science student there. Then from there, I proceed to the Gambia College School of Public Health. 2015, I got my appointment with the Ministry of Health as a public health worker. Then in 2016, 2017, I started my university education at the University of the Gambia. In that, working as a public health worker with the Ministry of Health, I first started my work at the Brikama Health Center for 8 months. Then I was redeployed to the Ministry of Health Public Health Directorate. In that, I was fortunate to further my studies. First, in 2017, I traveled to China to study malaria control programs in Beijing, Wuxi Institute of Parasitology. Then in 2018 also, I traveled back again to China to study maternal and infant health care. In 2020, I started my postgraduate program in the famous Makerere University in Kampala, Uganda. And in 2021, I was in Ghana for my clinical training in the famous Kwame Nkrumah University affiliated to the Komfonochi Teaching Hospital. And in that, I'm among the people who first won a grant in partnership with the University of Edinburgh Global Health Academy. The grant is all about palliative care services. When we talk about palliative care, it's giving care to people with life-limiting conditions or people with chronic conditions. I thank God I'm among the first people in this country to bring in such services in the country, and I'm working with the Ministry of Health, the Pediatric Association of the Gambia, and relevant stakeholders. Right now, I'm a project coordinator coordinating that project in the country. Initially, I'm also working with the Public Health Directorate as a public health officer, doing most of the functions required by the Public Health Directorate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mansour Sow, independent candidate contesting in the Brikama South constituency. Well, you would agree with me, they both have quite rich biography, but I mean, that's what we expect if you want to represent your people in the National Assembly. Like I said, I mean, we'll be joined on the program later by Lamin Jaju, an independent candidate, and Mamadou King Koli of the Gambia Democratic Congress Party. They will be joining us hopefully before the end of this broadcast. But I mean, let me now start by asking my first question to Mr. Lamin J. Sane as the sitting National Assembly member. Could you just share with us, how have you been representing your constituents in and outside National Assembly in the last 5 years? Yeah,
thank you so much, Aliu. Representation is very key and is very important. Like for the last 5 years, we've been very busy. If you look at the 5th legislative, it's one of the most busiest parliament in the history of the country. In terms of parliamentary questions we send, in terms of bills that are tabled before us, and with the type of constructive debates that we are subjected to. And the most important component of the National Assembly is the committee work. That's the oversight function. I happen to be the vice chair of the National Assembly Select Committee on Government Monitoring Projects, the implementation of the government. And I also happen to be part of the Select Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development, and also Select Committee on Regional Governance, Land, IEC, and Ombudsman. And I'm an integral member of these three committees that kept me busy throughout my tenure. Like, if you, from there also, we do also the advocacy component, where I sent in a lot of parliamentary questions, especially coming to my constituency in terms of development, both human and infrastructure. Like when I came in as a parliamentarian, 2017 in April, the first thing I did was, because I am a football enthusiast, I told you I was a sport advocate, but I know I serve Brikama adequately. What I know, Brikama now, we have over 32 football teams, and anytime there is no return, all the youths are selected from Marrakech Award. So I'm thinking in that dimension, let me organize a tournament based on a three clear-cut objective. That is to empower the community to become a zonal center, and also to enable the community to come out with a divisional club, and again to unify the area. So that cost me over 150,000. In fact, all the villages responded. That was my first outside activity in Marrakech Award, where I provided a trophy, I provided a set of jersey for the finalists, 200 set of T-shirts for the finalists, also the medals also, and again, I was providing the ball. Even the organizing committee, I provide them some shirts.
Yeah, quite interesting. Let's now look at, I mean, you've described the fifth legislature as one of the busiest. I mean, you have served as the vice chair of the committee on project monitoring. You know, you're also a member of the committee on IEC and Ombudsman. Yeah. What would you describe as your major achievements in Parliament?
My major achievement in the Parliament as the vice chair of the government monitoring projects, some of almost, if the projects bills are tabled in a form of projects, after the first and the second reading, they will send it to the relevant committee. And I was fortunate to receive this water project that came. And if you look at the itinerary that was brought before us, the entire Combo Central, both Brikama North and South, there is no community that serving as a beneficiary to that particular project. It was an ADB project. But interestingly, the PS and the team, I made it categorically clear, I will never ascribe to this if my community are not going to be a beneficiary. Those are water projects. So I was asked to give the name of communities that in my constituency that should benefit. So I gave Kitty, the entire Kitty 1, 2, 3, Madina Kures Pipeline and Madina Salaneudo. I also gave Manduar. And again, I also gave one community from Brikama North. But like this for the entire country, so we are competing. So they said I have to downsize the number of communities that I give to them. So eventually we were able to agree on Kitty and Madina. Currently borehole drilling are on, and probably before the end of this April, they will be fully served with water. And that was that was an important, a tremendous achievement, because water is a fundamental human right for everybody. So that is why I did everything humanly possible for that to be served. And again, the last budget bilateral, like we were asked to look at inward in order not to burden the country debt system in the country. So we are looking at inward, how are we going to sponsor our own infrastructural development? And this goes to the road, the road construction. That was in Sierra and URN, but we were not benefiting. But the last one, when I came from Russia on election duties, I was asked, we went into budget bilateral with the PS. They were demanding 500 million. I told them, look, I will never ascribe to this except if our roads are given the attention. The president did the people tour, and he made a pronouncement.
All right, yes, Honorable, I will come back to you. Let me now bring in Mansour. Mansour, you are contesting as an independent candidate. Before I will engage you on how you rate the performance of the incumbent, just share with us what are some of the key issues in your constituency that has warranted you to come out and wanting to represent your people in Parliament.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Cisse. As you said, most of the issues in Brikama South are more of national interest, because in Brikama South, the issues that we have, I think there are common issues in the country, and we need to address them. And in addressing those issues, you need to have someone who understands the issues, who is competent, and who has a very good knowledge about the issues in Brikama South. That is why, not my age, not my educational career, or not my professional, I said, look, now is the time for me to join politics and take the lead and make sure that my people are well represented. And in Brikama South, we have a lot of issues. My profession, what I know much about is healthcare services. And in Brikama South, the problem we are having is our health center. The other thing is our market development and feeder roads in Brikama South. It is another concern. The third point is youth empowerment. We, the youths, are not empowered. When we talk about youth empowerment, we talk about 4 things: skills, education, leadership, and financing. But we are not seeing this we are not seeing such in this country, especially in the remote part of the country, that is the southern part, Brikama South. So I believe now is the time to have someone who will represent them, who will understand issues, and who will try by all means to push this agenda. And the fourth thing is about our environment. Environmental sanitation is a big problem in Brikama South, especially in our market. During the rain season, our markets will be flooded. Our houses will be flooded. If you go to our dump site, we have a big dump site in Brikama South called Tambani in Chiti. People are complaining of backwater dump site, but I think right now, as I'm speaking, the problem, our concentration should go back to Tambani, that is Chiti. And our representatives are not talking about that.
Yes,
and
thank you
finally,
very much.
Sorry, finally.
Mansur, we have 2 minutes. I mean, now you have heard from the incumbent, Lamin Jesane, talking about his interventions. You talk about what he has done as a vice chair of the project monitoring committee to ensure there is some sort of improvements as far as the road networks in your constituency is concerned. He talks about his intervention in the area of water. How would you rate his performance in the last 5 years?
To be honest with him, and he is here, we are not satisfied. He is trying in other areas, and I compliment him for that. But our issues are not addressed, and he is not communicating those issues at the National Assembly. He is the one representing us at the National Assembly. He is our voice. So those issues need to be addressed, and the starting point is at the National Assembly.
You said, I mean, he is trying in other areas. What are those areas?
He said in sport, it's because of him we have certain few players coming from our end. But I think that is basic. That is not the thing he should talk about here. We should talk about issues that are of potential concerns in Brikama South. Not giving T-shirts, not giving boots, or not organizing tournaments. If you see youths are going in for football tournaments and others, they have no other option. Playing football tournaments and giving out T-shirts, I think that is out of the game.
Mr. Sane, how do you respond to Mr. Sow?
Interestingly, first of all, I want us to pay specific attention to the sporting aspect. Not every individual is academically sharp in class, notwithstanding you have a skill to survive. That skill can be any of the sporting disciplines. And again, football is not just a mere entertainment. It's one of the most lucrative ventures one can go into. I vividly remember, look at Sadio Mane when he was coming to play in Brikama with the Casa Sport. But right now, he's one of the highest earning sub-regional people, particularly Senegambia. So football, if it's given the right attention, that can impact positively. And besides, you talk about Tambana. Before I became a National Assembly member, I was an FA organizing committee member. We did talk about this football development. Then Alai Umarisi was there with Sidi Kente. I lobbied for us to get the artificial top for a stadium. So Joseph Blatter, the FIFA project, as a campaign project, when it came, this was sent to Brikama. We have to provide the land. I went to engage the authorities, the Council of Elders, to take that particular area to Tambana purposely. Tambana you're talking about is between Kiti and Kasakunda and Brikama. It's our community. And that place, we have 17 boreholes. And Tambana, in fact, it was only identified to be depositing solid waste, not liquid waste. There was an instant when a liquid waste was disposed there. I have to take the bull by the horn to meet all the local authorities to make sure that that stops. And in fact, we even involved certain police officers to avoid it, because the odor was so unbearable, suffocating both Kitty and Kasakunda, and part of Jamisa that was closer to it. So like, if you talk about Brikama, these are the issues. One thing we fail to understand, we have to know the level of representation. You talk at the floor of the parliament, unless if people are not interested in listening to what you are saying. But I know there are a lot of issues, more especially, not only Brikama, the whole country, anytime we have 50 to 60 millimeter per hour of heavy downpour, the entire country submerges.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sane. Let me now go back to Mansour. Mansour, you've really challenged the incumbent, as like you claim he's not been doing much. How or what will you have done different to bring about the changes that you are yearning for the people of your constituency?
In Brikama South, like if I talk about the healthcare services, Brikama is the major health center that connects Casamas, the entire Combo, and Phonis. That is where people go for their services. But that is where our mothers are dying. Our wives, our children are all dying. But he is here, he never raised that concern. And maternal deaths in Brikama are very alarming. Our healthcare services in Brikama is very, very poor. These are the things that we need to address. The other thing is about our mothers. Most of our mothers in Brikama South are gardeners. They don't have community gardens. They don't even have water in their homes. How about in their gardens? These are the issues that my brothers will address at the National Assembly. And when
I want to challenge you here.
No,
I want to challenge you here. How do you know that the incumbent has never raised this issue in Parliament?
I've been following most of the sittings at the National Assembly.
But not all?
Most of the sittings.
But not all? Like
yes, not all.
How much?
If you rate it almost,
percentage?
Almost 68 to 70% of the sittings.
68 to 78%.
70. And this issue of maternal deaths in Brikama is something alarming in the country. Everyone is talking about it. And most of our mothers are gardeners. Let me learn.
Okay.
Let me learn. And he's talking about sports. Whatever you are doing, you should calculate the sustainability component of it. Organizing tournaments and giving out T-shirt, there is no sustainability in that. Do you know in Brikama South right now we have no football playing ground? And we don't have other social amenities for the youths.
Now, aside from the issue of the health sector, what are the other issues that you will point to as the failings of the incumbent?
Our market.
In the National Assembly.
Our market. Brikama market is the center of all the markets in the Gambia. From Zigansor to Casamas, down to the local villages, Basse, and the entire Combo are all going to Brikama market. Without Brikama market,
are you saying he has never raised the issue of the Brikama market also in Parliament?
Yes, and unfortunately for us, unfortunately for him, he's the chairperson of our local government, meaning he's the one in control of our councils and other areas.
Okay, now let me now bring in a honorable here.
Yes,
honorable.
Thank you so much.
So you've never raised the issue of the Brikama?
Thank you very much. I think it is a very important and a healthy debate. It's good to air your view about what is happening. The issue of Brikama, like I have parliamentary questions that are sent to the minister in connection. Currently, there is $35 million that is a portion for Brikama market. But I was vehemently against that. Because when Basse market was born, we gave them 100 million. Basse is part of the country. And I was advocating for the overhaul of the structure of Brikama market. And one important thing he failed to understand, sometimes 2018, when the president came to Brikama, meet the people I was chosen to speak on behalf of the people of Brikama. Notably among them, where I laid emphasis, is the issue of the hospital and the Brikama market with the military range. The president did promise, that was my question, that he is going to bring the street lighting with CCTV camera and Wi-Fi. And he said he went to Turkey. He went to Turkey and Saudi, and he got the out-of-state hospital for Brikama. This was said. And I asked these questions on 7th occasion. The vice president was sent to the assembly to come and respond to these questions. Even when I was not satisfied, but I was allowed to ask 2 supplementary questions to put him to a tight angle. The issue of the hospital was a major concern. Before I became a parliamentarian, I wrote a proposal from a community in America called Yirwa Maker Foundation. They came to the Gambia. They had a tete-a-tete with the Council of Elders. We provided the land. That is the Furia Forest Park land on the way going to Botrop. And in fact, all the reserve and the gazetting was done. We started working on that one to build the hospital. That hospitals, in fact, these are a team of surgeons that will do a lot of surgeries in the country. So eventually what happened, we had an issue. The health minister asked us to stop it. In fact, I told my people we'll go to court and challenge the government on this. Because this was done, the people of Brikama provided the land for this thing to be instituted.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I'll come back to you, Mansour. Let me just introduce our new guest. I mean, we've been joined by another candidate from Brikama South constituency. We'll just allow him to introduce himself. And in 2 minutes, tell us who you are.
Yeah, I am Lamin Jaju, born and brought up in Komomandwari village, West Coast region, the Gambia. And at that time, serving councillor of Brikama Area Council since 2008. Yeah. And then the coordinator of Casa Gambia Cross Border Association is an advocacy team group that advocates on peace and culture, natural resource management, and the free movement of persons, goods, and services in the southern Senegambia sub-region.
Yes, I mean, I'm sorry you came late, but I'll just ask you this question. I mean, why are you contesting to represent your people in parliament in terms of looking at what you would describe as the key issues in your constituency?
Yeah, okay, it's all about representing our people, because to me, I feel there are issues that are not, brought to the assembly concerning the people of Brikama or the environment of Brikama. Example, Brikama, there are so many issues, like I met him saying, though, my brother, Honorable Sane, I've been following his deliberations in the National Assembly during their debates, and solely, he had tried. But regardless of all that, I feel that, as a grassroots politician who started, from the local government area, and then in that area also local government are not well represented, because our issues, especially the act of the local government, definitely it did not even favor any of the councillors who has served the council and who is coming to serve, unless it is changed. So with those, I feel if I am part of that assembly, I will advocate to ensure that certain sections of the local government are changed. And also, Brikama Area Council, we feel West Coast region cannot be developed in the absence of Brikama Area Council. And in that, the revenue arms of Brikama Area Council are all controlled and seized by the central government, not today. So at least those are some of the things. You cannot represent people if you don't know them. Not by knowing the people physically, but the environment that you are representing, the area that you are representing. You should know about that area. But if you don't know their problems, you are not visiting the areas, definitely you hardly help.
Are you implying that the incumbent doesn't know anything about the Brikama South constituency?
No, he may know about Brikama South constituency, but I feel I know Brikama South constituency more than he do.
How do you know that?
Yes, I've been together with him. He was working with the CCF. If you are a CCF staff, I know you should know your area very well. But at this point in time, when he came to power, when he took the mantle of the National Assembly seat, I very rarely see Honorable Sane in many areas of the constituency.
Well. Yeah, but you said the incumbent was doing quite well in the National Assembly.
No, I'm not saying quite well. Sometimes he did better in some areas, but not quite well. If he is doing quite well, then no need for us to contest against him.
Now, thank you very much, Lamin Jaju. We've now been joined in the studio by Mamadou King Colley, who is contesting under the GDC ticket for Brikama South constituency. Mr. Colley, thank you so much for joining us on the debate. Just in 2 minutes, tell us who is Mamadou King Colley.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum. I'm sending greetings to all of you and then the Gambians, particularly Brikama South, my constituency people. Mamadou Kinkoli is a young guy who was born in Marakisa village. He started schooling at Marakisa, then later on proceeded to go to Nusrat High School. Then from there, I proceeded to MDI, where I studied management. Then went to the Gambia College, studied HTC, and then I later went back to MDI to study procurement. Then from there, I proceeded to the University of the Gambia, where I studied public administration. So I worked as a teacher, and later on resigned to work as a procurement officer with the local government and lands.
Thank you very much, Mamadou Kinkoli, Gambia Democratic Congress Party. Now, my first question to you will be, why do you choose to contest?
Yeah, looking at the issues at Brikama South, you will understand that we are hit with many irregularities. Example, like if you look at it, we are seriously facing lack of representation by our non-member. So this, with many reasons, prompted me to tighten up my belt and then join the race.
What do you mean by lack of representation?
Yeah, like if I say lack of proper representation here, I am talking about the issue that our non-members will fight, okay, for the constituency. He is not doing that, or he was not doing it. So looking at that, you'll understand that there are many issues that people are facing in my constituency. Okay, like if you look at it, there are other communities that are seriously having a problem of water and then electricity. If you also look at other major communities, especially the villages, because Brikama South is having two zones. We have the Brikama zone and we also have the Central 2 zone. There are other communities in Central 2 zone, they don't have markets and then they are paying tax. So here, our non-members will liaise with other relevant authorities so that he can at least discuss with them and then see how best he can bring such a development in those communities. But if you look at it also, you'll understand that our non-member here was not that much socializing. Okay, because if you look at our area, we have wards there in our constituency. We have like councillors in those wards. So at least if he lives with them, he will better know the problems of those communities. And then through the council, they can work together to bring such a development. Because the government has already gave the council a lot of power.
Thank you very much, King Koli. Let me now go back to Mansour. Mansour, earlier on, I mean, while raising the issues affecting your people, you talked about the issue of the Brikama market. What will you have done different to address the current state of the Brikama market?
Okay, you know, the problem in Brikama is not only the market itself, but the market and the entire surrounding. We need to have better structures. Our market needs to be available, accessible, and affordable. But we lack all these three is in Brikama. The other thing is in our market, environmental sanitation is lacking. This is where we are getting our food. This is where our parents are staying for more than 6 hours daily. We have a fish market in that market, but go and see this condition of the market. You will see maggot climbing on people, on their sales.
I mean,
and not only that, the market is congested. The other thing is the market is prone to fire outbreak and flood.
Mansour, we understand all that. Let me just come in here. We all know markets are under the area councils. What do you think a National Assembly member, or if you are elected as a National Assembly member, you can do? Because certainly markets are under the area councils.
Yes, markets are under the area council. Our honorable here, he is the chairman. You are part of the committee. Exactly. He is part of the market. He is part of the committee which is responsible for our councils. Why is he part of that committee? is to coordinate the activities and review all the reports coming from the council in connection to the market. By doing so, he can easily address the situation of our market at the National Assembly.
Honorable, I will bring you here. I mean, you have heard from Mansour, you have heard from King Koli and Jaju. I mean, how do you respond to some of the claims they have made that you have not been representing the people of your constituency, the issue of the market, you have not done much enough. They said you have not been socializing with your people.
Good.
I mean,
thank you so much, Aliu. I think it's important. My colleagues here, sometimes you find it difficult to actually deny the opinion of people. That's their candid opinion about me, that I'm not fully representing. I quite agree. And imagine, that was a place, a seat I occupied for the last 5 years, and I'm intending to occupy it again. So it depends on the people. They may caricature you in the negative, but that does not mean actually that's the reality on the ground. One thing I will tell you about, you have to understand the role of the National Assembly member. The primary role of the National Assembly is to legislate, to make sure we bring in laws that will commensurate with the realities, to see me and you as a better human being, for our properties to be protected. And that's our primary role. The other one is the oversight functions. That's where the committee work comes in. Year in, year out is the National Assembly that apportion the expected revenue within a fiscal year to the different part of the ministries and their departments. And from 2017 to 2022, we have given $130 billion to the government, to the president and his team to implement it. I don't know whether you understand. The issue of the market is not the area of this guy. But one thing I did, I will tell you here. As I told you, the entire Brikama and the Gambia, anytime we have 50 to 60 millimeter per hour of heavy downpour, the entire Brikama submerges. And this results in a lot of house falling down. Specific communities, Jida and other areas. If you can see, if I can give you the number of parliamentary questions I sent to the minister. You talk about the market, we even went, the Minister of Work dispatched a team to come with me to look at the drainage system in that particular area.
Thank you.
No.
Okay.
The issue of socialization is important. If I'm good, because me, I served those communities before becoming a parliamentarian. I know the area. Because one thing I know, Dar Lame in particular, where he comes from, Mr. Sow, that place is seriously confronted with encouragement. The Senegalese are even putting a pay claim to be colonial.
Honorable, your time is up. It has 2 minutes, and I hope we will try as much as possible to respect the 2 minutes given. Let's see how best we can summarize our response to be able to bring out all the messages that we want to share. Let me now bring in Lamin Jaju here. I mean, what sort of an MP should the people of Brikama South expect in you, in Lamin Jaju?
Yeah, okay. As he rightly mentioned, said, Honorable Sane, to be an MP, I mean, the primary function of an MP is to legislate. That's perfect. Upon that, like oversight functions, in fact, this is not an oversight function, because I've never heard or see him saying, this is a bill from the National Assembly, can we discuss it? Maybe he may be consulting other people different from us as stakeholders, because I feel I was a stakeholder in Brikama South constituency as a 3-term serving councillor. But this never happened. And then, laws cannot be implemented or enacted anywhere without a National Assembly member being taking those, bills down to the community and discuss on them. Wherever we agreed is what should be taken to the National Assembly, because National Assembly members are our servants, they are our messengers. But I've never heard him doing such. So these are some of the things. And then he was mentioning Dar Lame. It's true, Dar Lame is a hotspot as far as this cross-border issue is concerned. But how many times has the National Assembly member been going to attend such conflicts when they happen at that place? Because I'm a focal person of the cross-border fraternity, and whenever it happens, you will see citizens of Dar Lame who will call me, and I'll drive my vehicle up to the place, up to the scene. But I will not see him there. So if that should happen, it's not more than twice. So
yes, you talk about the role of the National Assembly that you said is to legislate laws. I just want to know, if you are elected, what sort of a legislation will you champion in Parliament?
Anyhow, youth empowerment, women and youth empowerment, those are very, very key.
How?
Yeah, because, you know, he made mention, and that's the cry of, I think that's the cry of everybody. Women are not empowered simply because those who are engaged in horticulture.
You talked about youth and women empowerment.
Yeah.
Just recently, we saw a bill being thrust in Parliament about the constitutional amendment bill. Will you in any way support that bill if you are elected?
On what?
The constitutional amendment bill.
Mm-hmm.
So,
amendment bill on what?
So you've not been following parliamentary
No,
proceedings?
I'm asking amendment bill on what?
To have at least 14 women in National Assembly.
That's fine. That's excellent.
So it seems you know you are even aware that this thing happened in Parliament.
No, I know it happens, but if you say an amendment bill, then you have to come straight to the point. Concerning the number of women representation in the council,
I will have expected if I said the constitutional amendment bill, certainly you will have known if you are following the National Assembly sittings.
No, I've been following, but you know, if it should happen in this, during this campaign, I'm out. I don't follow. I'm concentrating on my campaign. You see, in fact, today you distracted me of coming here, and then you called me yesterday night to say you are invited, but I decided to put down my campaign and come over. But
now,
you know,
let me bring
the women of our area.
Thank you so much. Let me now bring in Mansour here. Mansour, I'll ask you a similar question. I mean, what sort of an MP will you be?
Okay, like I said, from the beginning, I'm doing this for my people. National interest comes first, before any other thing. I'm not going to the National Assembly.
So it's not about constituency interest, it's more about national interest for you.
National interest comes first before any other interest. That's it. That's the hard fact.
Because it is the people of your constituency who are going to vote for you.
Yeah, even in Brikama South, we have issues that are more of national interest. Especially in my village. 500 away from my house is occupied by the Senegalese force.
But Mansour, we have to be specific. Certainly not the whole country is voting for you. It's the people of Brikama South constituency who are going to vote for you. That should be a priority.
Okay, that's it. That's why I communicate this to you, that most of the problems in Brikama South are more of national interest, not only interest of Brikama South. Youth empowerment, our border, land and border problems, agriculture, our healthcare services. So my communication here should be broad. Let
me just bring you here. You talked about agriculture. You talked about cross-border. I mean, what can you do as a National Assembly member aside from making laws to address these issues?
Yeah, the other thing, when we said a National Assemblyman, not only making laws, you oversight functions of the various ministries and relevant stakeholders, and also the representation. This is where the advocacy comes. So we are having this problem, and our honorable is here. In our village and surrounding villages, when such incidents happen, we communicate to him directly, because he is the right person who can advocate these problems for us at the National Assembly. And I feel that he is not doing that for us.
No, what I mean here, I'm talking about concrete actions. What can you do to address these issues? You're talking about advocacy. Beyond advocacy, what else can you do? Because advocacy, you are just assuming. There's no guarantee that you can get what you need to be able to address these issues.
This is a problem within my community.
And some of these issues require funds, money.
No, for our land and borders, there is no fund or money required for it. The only thing required is having the reports, send them to the National Assembly, make sure that you stand with your statement, communicate to the people, communicate to the National Assembly members of the problems happening in your community. You are the person there for your people, not the entire community.
But this is something that the incumbent says he's been doing in Parliament.
No.
Now let me bring in Koli here. Koli, I will ask you the same question. I mean, you said you are contesting because of some of the concerns you said are in your constituency, and you believe perhaps in your own opinion, the incumbent hasn't been doing much in terms of representing the people of Brikama South constituency. You talk about he's not been socializing with the people and all that. What will you do different to make you better, a better National Assembly member for Brikama South constituency?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. Like, I'm a leader who was serving, who is serving, and then who will continue to serve. I serve my people, and then I'm still serving them. Looking at the issue of the market that he discussed, I'm working with an organization there, okay, called the Youth of West Coast for Empowerment and Development. We are the people who do go to the market and then organize a cleansing exercise there. We have been doing that not on one occasion, at the garage as well. And then we also dug reservoirs at the labor ward at the hospital. Okay, the issue of the border crisis that he is talking about at their village, I met the governor to discuss about the issue, for him to forward the problem so that the issue of that border problem can be tackled. I went there with my organization executives, and then together with the chairman of Brikama Area Council, for them to call a meeting so that the issue can be addressed. Not only that, I'm also working with another international organization called the Jazz Fountain International. They have been supporting a lot of people, in which I'm championing here because I'm the CEO. Okay, now, my people, what I want to assure them is I'm going to be a just leader, because I want to empower the youth and then the women. Looking at my party, one of the most fundamental things that they are doing is youth and women empowerment. That is what I want to champion at my constituency.
I mean, you talk about you being a leader. You talk about assuring the people of your constituency that you are going to be a just leader. I want to know. I mean, looking back. I mean, what have you done to show that you are a true leader? Well,
the organization that I'm heading, I told you that I'm working with Jazz Fountain International. We helped women, widows. We help widows here, because I looked into it. And then I checked that widows need help. Most of them, their husbands joined their ancestors, and then they left their families behind, in which the women are the one taking care of them. Those are the people that I targeted. And then I wrote to my guys, in which they respond in the positive way. So we supported them. We are supporting them, in fact. Not only that, the disabled, we targeted a lot, but we cannot do it at once.
I just want to know, how much have you achieved as far as this organization is concerned? How many women have you helped, and in terms of fund, how much have you spent?
Yeah, right now, we helped up to about 30 women, because the organization is...
You say, you are not sure, you say about 30?
No, it's 30.
30?
Yes, it's 30 women.
How much have you spent?
We spent over 300,000.
Over 300,000?
Over 300,000.
On just 30 women?
Yes. Not only them, because there are other helping hand that we are rendering in the other areas. Okay. Just like the disabled that I just mentioned. And then the issue of the scholarship, because we are giving out scholarship as well to the college students and then the university as well. So
do you think you can sustain this for the next 5 years if you become a
national? The money is not mine. The money is coming, okay, from our donor partners. It's not mine. I'm just here to facilitate it, to see that the money is channeled to the right direction, because the organization was in Botswana, was in Uganda, and then now they have extended it to Nigeria, Ghana, and then the Gambia.
But do you think this is the role of a National Assembly member?
This is not the role of a National Assembly, but a National Assembly member should go and then search and then bring to help his people. That is what I'm doing. Okay. It is not only about lawmaking, but also about finding ways in which you are to help your people.
Let me now go back to Sane, the incumbent. You've heard from your opponent.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
They appear not being satisfied with the way you've been representing your people, Sane.
But I made you, people are entitled to their opinion. I made that categorically clear. But that doesn't mean that, you see, one thing about representation, you will do your utmost best. But yet you have some people that might not be satisfied. And that's human nature, which I may not completely do away with. But I know the issue of Dar Salame, the numerous interventions I did is more than any of them. When I went to Dar es Salaam first, in fact, I had an engagement with the Senegalese authorities. I saw those pigs that are claiming to be colonial pigs. You know what I did? I came, I engaged Musa Drame. I sent in a parliamentary question. He's here. I will show it to you after it. That can you engage your counterpart to demarcate this border? Because this one is taking on a national dimension. Because if it is blown out of proportion, this can lead to a war. And you know what? Even he told me that they've sent to the British government to look into their archive whether they will see the map of the Gambia. I told him this is an insult. I don't only stop. I came up to the National Assembly. I engaged the National Assembly Standing Committee on Defense and Security. We moved as a team. We went up to all the security installations were visited. We came up to the border agent to discuss this issue. And we are taking up that one with Segumar Diouf as the Minister of Defense. And I engaged him that day. Then from there, I came back. I wrote another parliamentary question to the Minister of Interior. Sesu Badji is a non-Gambian. He is inciting violence in our country. When is he going to be subjected to deportation? And again, he talked about one thing about the issue of 2002 Local Government Act. I want to come there. We are the people that are championing the review of that particular issue. Because what is happening, we lack cadastral mapping, a better town planning, and that's our area is consumed. You go to Busura. Busura is part of Combo Central. They have a serious problem with Talokoto, that is in Combo South. Thanks to my intervention, Combo East. Thanks to my intervention, that one is being addressed. And the other issue we're talking about, you look at the level of encouragement when it comes
Honorable, I'm afraid, I mean, your 2 minutes is up, but just finally, one more question to you. I mean, you talked about the role of the National Assembly. Exactly. You talk about making laws. I mean, you've been in Parliament for the past 5 years. I mean, what would you have liked to see enacted in the last legislature, but was it?
Very good. In fact, I feel very much unfortunate to be part of the National Assembly.
Why?
That threw away the draft constitution. After allowing, because that constitution is an act of parliament. It was enacted by us. The Constitutional Review Commission went to do their consultation throughout the length and breadth of this country. All stakeholders were consulted. They consulted outside. And they compiled this thing into a document and it was tabled. In fact, it was sent to the president and the cabinet to sit over it. They went through, it came out with very flimsy excuses. They gave it to Thank you
so much, Honorable. We already understand your answer regarding draft constitution. Thank you so much, Honorable. Well, viewers, we remind that you're still watching QTV and we're broadcasting live from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue. My name is Aliou Cisse, and today we are looking at Brikama South constituency. And in the studio we have the sitting MP of that area, Lamin J. Sane, who was elected in 2017 under UDP. We also have Mansour Sow, who is contesting as an independent candidate. Lamin Jaju, also an independent candidate, is here in the studio. And Mamadou King Colley, who is contesting under the Gambia Democratic Congress Party, GDC. We will now go into the local languages to allow our listeners and viewers to better understand what these candidates have been saying in the English language. We're also broadcasting on Q Radio on 103.3 and streaming on our different social media platforms on Facebook and YouTube. Mbadingolu nyentemento mbeduna local language kono member studio kono jawale mu Lamin Jessanati atebe contest kan in Brikama South constituency UDP wala Londi Mansour Sow atebe lokan as an independent candidate, Lamin Jaju who fana be lokan as an independent candidate, aning Mamadou King Colley wodung GDC wala Londi Brikama South constituency. Mo fula wala man pour que mabe ngi debate wala mu buba maneti atafana be lokan independent candidate aning malanding bi jabang National People's Party ya wala Londi Brikama South constituency. Sindung be mbida into the local languages. I will start with you, Honorable Etelemu, the sitting National Assembly member T. I mean, itataji for the past 5 years. Munatina elected Cameroon National Assembly.
Welcome back, Aliou. I think that's a very important question. Kujamale Bujeng start and they are not yet completed. Particularly about Brikama South la security and peace. Because follow me the issue of Dar es Salaam namang solve Gambia will have a problem. Currently Bengal on the member happen in Foni. So and that's Lamela and Dimbaya up to Bajiran. They are also surrounded with the same Casamas region. So ning Senegal el tata pexol londi Clevandaga loko bodal tema there is always a respectable buffer. And this is not happening in that end. Al Kalfulabije, one representing Senegal, one representing the Gambia. And I made this abundantly clear in the National Assembly. I'm the only National Assembly member, me along Ngabangufula represent ya. That's by way of informant. When all the state ministers were there together with the speaker. Katandila Ko, there are communities in my constituency that are yet to be determined whether they belong to the Gambia or Senegal. Adung lafawala. Not the defense minister, not the interior minister, not the lands minister. Ngebe engaged and the process is going on. Currently, science and with regards to 2002 Local Government Act, currently they've got funding. They are working on that. And I think training are going on. Ndol Tadala, as a committee, we have developed certain certain provisions that are completely obsolete in Yantabola jail. And we inform them about the back in this country. Ndolaja na cost of living and in a source of income am match. And what a level of corruption in Bangkok. Because we told them, we don't believe in salary increment. We need salary restructuring. Let there be a market survey. Kajube ko Africa government ka jelle sa manola. Jelle mun nanda waloti na dino la school fees mi jelleti. Nka kurawni joljo jellela. Ningol be factor and structure the salary that will commensurate with the realities. But it can more than that.
Yeah, Honorable, your 2 minutes are up. You just have 2 minutes. I mean, but then, like I said, Italemu are the sitting National Assembly member. I mean, if you look back, 5 years, it's money human for at least I've been able to achieve this. Now 5 years in the National Assembly, na more represented in terms of achievements.
In terms of achievement, I know I did a lot of advocacy and we did a lot of legislation. But one thing currently in the community me along man jiol so ba so kan. Busula fananga boholo samaje. That's a bohol. It's there. Mandwar Suruakunda, I took one there and one in Kiti. And then Jimbebu Marakisa Wodla ended. On top of that, what is important, Marshall Ko, Leptano Ko, and we are still pushing it. But the Izumimbi, the feeder roads, Perkanani made highway decongest. The Gidato Tubakuta highway is already designed, they are only waiting for funding. And that's Dasilame to C4. That's another interesting bypass. Mimbe main Gunjul highway in decongest. Currently, they did the survey, it's not out. But Minkumalron, Kabavita Bafuloto budget is already apportioned. Okay. They are bidding for bidders have sent in their bidding. So they are going to contract anyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Lamin Jesane. Ngaje sounding koli ibe jeleka ibe kumoji yakang akamunta imang song ila kumola. Bari nga sonar so mano po ibe diamula mane kawr wala full account.
Yeah, ma diamula mandika account.
Mane kawr. Okay, good. Ite be lokan as an independent candidate. Isa fono moli munatina ilota puruka deputy sirango nyini.
Okay, ala barka la moirlar mamobe kontona yalong nimol ko député carte fayo lafta mole la mialon na lonne a makamo sotole a londo sotole andu a lonne mimba kering ala molla tundo to pour asa wuli ay do ko nyinke wala nante Mansour Sow nan na do ko bula na karangola kariya mu me minti na bula anina dindi ya maji ben koy banna wuli nata National Assembly mfango nan na mo represent because I believe I can do it nintol mo nyinke ntol fo ninkel minu 40 the wrong people wala ba mol misrepresent la andu banko nyi ntolle nyanta wala na doko ndolla birkama sa tundo ni nata jibe nteba doko la jata kendi abundalto but bi na problème o mi soto jata kendi abundalto na birkama loptano to a balfa waratale mba mal ka fa wolto na musul ka fa woleto na dindingol ka fa woleto ani ntol bela toroba fo mol ba tulla wole kono birkama loptano wole ke beata loptano beti in combo but bi birkama loptano la services wole porta loptano mo meti anu na député minyantan to represent la amantara ka wo ko kumbo fo ate anala family kata private health center leto wala private hospital leto na kata amantra ka kumbo anu tena na expertise min sort in healthcare services mbanna man sakunda ma ko ilale we will come with very good bills mi yala bo futala na all the entire health facilities in the Gambia because na loptano ni aji ba manke doku lal damma wala minu kata je bor nyino wala batata but ani doku lal Gambia jang health and safety below among futa National Assembly. Na doctoral bafaka in this COVID-19 and in no sol. Inene amwele moya ko kumbo. Apart from la sada munko kubukake. na ku fulanjango mu minti wolem na marseti na Marcelo ku batale in combo mo be kata wo Marcelo to mba mal kata wol to tolla balu be ka bol bar wo Marcelo mi ala tumbol ka sele molka Marcelo ni sama fa ngon dotita ka flodle nye bungo bi jaba jiyo bonka mol kay be la business o ke kan very foul fonko e ka wala bondi moleje odo but ibuka je found representative kol ka dia
thank you very much so no but abanda your 2 minutes are up let me now go to Jaju Jaju yes, so moi. I break out le plan le coffre. I mean, break out le plan le coffre and in Marseille. It a do you have a different thing? Munatna electoral law kele more represent in parliament.
Yeah, follow. Nte kom konga fanya minte I'm a cross-border activist. Since 2005. Especially maja dula ma min keta das lamela izuti. Atefon la korda anim border temo. It's just a stone thrown. Yeah, for Hamle. But I didn't even know Mansour. When Senegalese will come there with their tankers, they'll call me, I sacrifice my ngataje purkaje kakairo sabatendi because ntolla doko molati. Free movement of persons, goods and services, culture in the service of peace. Because we feel without our culture, Puri Cairo soto. Nimang culture, we no nimang respect sort of for our cultural norms and values. Purunga Cairo soto in the sub-region. Abe kolialale. Mina atinna na ado lu nyanta wole fonkula. Nyin sana yami mbentema kumayatale. Nyin bi hana ku fonte jola ning fulo tema. Amanya nandimila. Na indimi fana kensen no. Ya family. Okay, ni obotala inara funding kella karola. Nte kabirinte be school mbe borola. Na school from primary 1 in 1977. Busra school. Fonda and get a councilor. Any May Day sports market at council. I'll either play football or I run one of the track events. Yeah, fam. So I feel go funding kelu. Ila problem on our because in 2010 up to 2014, nekant minkake West Coast Region telkake head of committee. And alhamdulillah, nga alaten to bake nga achievement on means we went with so many trophies with my team. You have debate there, you have quiz competition, beauty pageant, and the cultural dance competition, masquerade. So I'm well done, very good, trophies lesoto ke samba region. And in a rajibe fana, janni baflako, na molie, al nyin kenye. It follow legend amirele, yamina kela molie, onyanta mina kela molie.
Very and important. Hold on, your time is up. You have 2 minutes. Let me now bring in Koli. Koli, ita fana benjini kale same thing la. Imu fundi ke woti, ebe contest on the JDC ticket. Munatina ifintra prokafo ndefambira nga deputy sirango nyini. Okay. Ye munaje in your constituency. Munataka yele kolbe bula prokana ka deputy wot.
Abaraka ba kembe kontona, mbe molbe kontona mbe jibe rola. Nyim programme moto. Comme nga mim foni English kangola mbe wala fola kotake. Because ni nata jibe nde molti mi ko mbe doko ke kanda moli. Kabir nunto mondum politiko ko non tara folon 40 nga londo soto nata. Mole la doko tuje nyam fana ngana doko tuje wala nyama pour kanaka lo kanna mola bata da kele ina ta jibe nga foyele jang nko ni organisation le be doko wala me mol mako e kanne woto nde manke wo politicien no min ka fu mola al quartier dina nga nyinkale nte be doko wala hannin nata nin gagneta wo doko le be gana continuer la lafta wo doko e sembo soto wala na mbe nyim palaso nyini kan
mun doko sifa ebe wala
nyin doko mbe demaro min na be scholarship min dikan dindi wala through that organization and then through my party. Because they na party in the university Joe GDC and then they are helping people. It's just a matter of ndenga win ka facilitate pour mo jama soto na area. That's all I'm asking for. Na organization fam be mi head kan abe mol la karamu jo fana aba jo kanne so ndefana ninga place soto aben sola symbol la pour nga mo ngando ma dol mako yan ko to ma dol mi alonko ye requirement soto le anu lafta fana ke la karamu lafa. Numbota je fana dina rajibe education abe decline kan na area ndenkata tichati. I know very well that education be decline abe jikam back in the area high competition TJ. So nko ninata what am I going to do? Nko first ninata mbe school le target la mi alonko abe na area na constituency abe na area. Then nina head so lebe diamola standard question lebe settler from grade 7, grade 8 and grade 9. Ndolbe scholarship dikan. Momo aggregate 6 strategy from grade 7, grade 8. Right now, in the government schools, ibuka payment ke. because school fees jo so mbe school material so lesson na ka dila but again natara student o bije mi alon ko abe private school like I was in a private school before on Marie Riviera.
You have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes to respond.
I'm coming.
Each of your opponents had 2 minutes. I cannot give you anything more than 2 minutes. Now we have reached a point whereby we will allow you. Honorable Sane, Mansour, Jaju, and Koli. If you have any questions, I'll let you in Kamena. I'll let you know more if you know. I'll question as you work on sign.
Okay.
Anybody, you can ask anyone question. Ala dia mo ko nyaare yef fenso me ko ele fa kam ke mo nyodo nyini ka kula me ala ko apo wala man koyma asa ke no sign
but ndelo sitting MP I'll send you ngado I was there for the last 5 years I'll send you ngado
okay okay no problem I have a question for my brother
okay by the way just hold on by the way the lines are now open. You can now call in and ask questions to any of the candidates, especially those living in Brikama South constituency. The numbers are on your screens. You can call and ask any question. By the way, melbe QTV jibe kan intermeto ngala inol yele momo la fa komandroke especially mo me lan ko ibe steering Brikama South constituency asi komandro keno ali ala nyinin karol ke momo ñi mo nanal melbe jamiala ko ila ka ala deputy oti National Assembly. The lines are now open. You can call and then ask any question. Yes, yes, colleague.
Yeah, a question also in English or local language?
Anyone you prefer.
Okay.
Any language.
Na keba. Na honorable jang. Adiam tanu nako. Ay boholo di busurankola. Aning kiti. Aning mandua suruakunda. But to my surprise, ndetara busurale. I made a survey. Mo boholo je. Anunga nyinin karo kele maje. Kiti fana maje because kiti na boss minkena mawa candidate 3 boreholes awole kiji. Currently, as I'm speaking, I'm facilitating.
It's a question, colleague.
Okay, it's a question.
Yeah, just ask direct question. Direct.
Okay, busura muntu lafta kanyin kamera. Busura muntu ma fangla nin kiti muntu ma fangla.
Busura dimbaya.
No, I busura le fonu jang.
That's a slip of tongue. It's dimbaya.
Okay, dimbaya.
Yeah, dimbaya.
Okay.
Busura.
Yeah, dimbaya nga boholo je bar malo ya soto nyang. But kiti muntu ma fangla boholo ke dan.
Kiti is not actually a borehole, but it's a well, not a borehole.
Okay, well. Okay, Gio.
And if you are Daniel la kola, kiti manja, that's kiti 3, manja kola, on the way going to Marakisa. Abuja, even as I am speaking.
Sorry, Honorable, just hold on. We have a caller on the line. Hello, caller. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, brother. My name is Alhaji Samate. I'm calling from Busra.
Okay. What's your question?
Yeah, I want you to allow Mansour, Chinkole, Modi Chinkole.
Do you have a question or not?
Yeah, I want him to complete the question. The question he wants to complete. I want you to allow him to complete the.
Do you have a question or not? Do you have a question for any of these candidates, please?
Yeah, I said I want you to allow Modi Chinkole to complete. What he want to say about the education.
Come on, we can goodbye. I don't think you have predicted how we do our program here anyway. I thought you were going to ask a question. Exactly.
Of my programs.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
Because I have very good programs.
Yes, but
in
it's time. We have to stick to the time.
Yeah, okay.
You've got 2 minutes. I mean, we cannot give anything. That's part of the rules governing this debate. So we cannot give you anything more than 2 minutes. Yes. Honorable.
Yes.
Yes, you can respond.
I think it's a slip of the tongue.
Yeah, I understand that. Dimbanga boholoji.
And Manduar Suruakunda, Tuba. In fact, at that time, they were constrained seriously. I was coming from Busura, ila muskile accident sort of motor attack on spot. Dolanga chikanga samba leptano to kawul bekeje. Melbanga samba jentaraje alkalo kumande ko jang they are constrained ji ko lebeje. Kako okay. I will do everything humanly possible. Then that towards the field end. Ngo samaje kilindo tata kiti tirile Daniel Mendila Kordabale because it will be outskirt let them for that. So that's what I did. So the entire Kidifon now and the entire Medina will be standpipe sort of saying currently is on.
I think that's fine, Honorable. You've answered the question. Any other question? Yes, Mansour.
Ndela question abitala na kebala councilor Mr. Lamin Jajo. Yalo limol ko deputy lafta mole la
Sorry, so just hold on. We have another caller. Hello, caller. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, I am Modi Sane calling from Dar es Salaam.
Okay. What's your question?
Okay. Until I karo beta for force central beta nin deputy mi alon ko san tatel be siringe.
Yes.
Nia jibe deputy min be siring birin sanji lulu sani bire ayalon ko akana jile abe bohol singola. Nin deputy nin aka footballer min footing I mean sponsor ndenga do kalamta mi ya lon ko
No, sorry.
I promise package o minna amana wo fongo keno.
Okay. I think he's making commentary. But then, honorable, if we understand akamenyinika wala mu
Uncle for because amanga bohol from Sinta sign.
Akamunda ataka wala nyinika.
Ataka wala nyinika amanga sign not because of the time is time on in Sudiata wala na wo jiol not provide. But you be can concurrently but me be caring for now. Sometimes for now deputy la activity you cannot inform everybody because more be different walk of life leti. So only those who are interested. But certain communities, what is important, dollar entry point in every village, alkalo leti, and some of the opinion leaders. And sometimes when near parliamentary calling follow back, you easily understand. Ibalon na way that you can fabicana. Bandangalo no ko, not having a dash like Seattle. And I may found shortly Tabalini youth solo problem. Without my intervention, it would have been bloody. Sana and Buba Sambu were mad on the issue Beraka VDC dissolve.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I mean, we have now come to the end of the program. Remember, the program lasts for 1 hour 30 minutes. That's how it has been from the day we started this debate.
He was trying to ask a question.
Oh, okay. Judge has a question.
No,
Mansur was asking a question. Okay.
Ndela question o muminti. Gambia non tol mumi la responsibility lem kana banko do ko anonymol ko député ay ke moti min samo represent novel. Mr. Jajo, ite 15 years iba councilor yala. Maraksa wot mi ala manke birkama south mometi ntol mi le impact je nite wulite ko ka député yala nyene mune wo sabo.
That's good. Judge, please summarize it in just 30 seconds. We're running out of time.
Mansurunte, during my time, Birkama Kasakunda Road was my project. The gravel road. Yamwele. The Kitty football field, silly project all along from council. The Maraksa market, silly project all along. Maraksa football field, science, me yalonka fenster. I have a hand there from council, more than $100,000. You go to Bakar Sambia water supply. I have a hand in that. Yamwele. You go to Kitty, this place, you go to Brikama Medina, there is a mosque built and a borehole dog. That's from me. You go to Bajiran, there is a mosque built. That's from me. You go to Taiwatu, there is a mosque built. It's from me. And then Bantanyima, the village after your community, the almost Nikadum Bantanyima, Jamia Mimbe on your right. Thank
you so much, Mr.
And in 7 years, I was sacrificing 70 bulls every year.
Mr. Jaju, Mr. Jaju, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have now come to the end of this program. Each of you has a minute. Each of you has a minute to make a closing remarks. I mean, I will start with Koli, 1 minute closing remarks, and yeah.
Yeah. In local language?
Yes, any language you choose.
Okay. Welcome once again, and then apologizing for coming late due to the traffic. And then, indeed, I wanted to discuss a lot of issues, but time is our constraint here. So I'm thanking the listeners, and then also advising them to at least follow our policies and then vote wisely, because this is not about party line. This is about proper representation. So Brikama South, I'm appealing to each and every one of the electorates there to vote wisely, because here we need a person who is to go to the National Assembly to represent us for the next 5 years.
Thank you so much, Mr. Koli. Mr. Jaju, Lamin Jaju,
okay,
independent candidate.
Mfana ngamin soto min kafu mole wala nyinte ko. Ntol momo be siran be ba nyine kande. Bar momo siran soto. Alon ko ima soto ila patiye. Ima soto ila family, ima soto ila sate. Ya soto jamale consequences molu. Momo bije alon ko ikawre represent. So ni winta isa alon ko inyanta jamale mako ila. Because akakele dol bije ni winter parti mi ye CJ o mol mi ye CJ ka concentrate wolela and ni wo kata don wala ka problemo samana wo ko lan sa kata bage karte fayo fela kanasi nga Cairo nga try nga Cairo nin tenku nga sabatindi because wole kumayata nin kairo nin tengoma ni ajembe sila jambi njikita ko kairo ate kerin ne fandenga ante fe kairo te kerin bari aduma ndingu mimbe kerin mbe wole enjoy kan so anu nim mo fana
abarka bake jaju Mansour Sow, another independent candidate.
Assalamu alaikum. La moyral mbal mumé kontonna ani mtol mumé mbijang. Njimu député carte fayolti. Na cartel wala ka good leadership di, na carte wala ka bad leadership di. Ando say ni aje fondinke konte Mansour wuli ta kanyim palaso nyini lafta Gambia la nyaato toy ta Gambia la nyaato talela. Say nalo man na cartel di la molla minulla. Alna na cartel di mol min molla mialo ye fahamo sotole. Yalon ne mune na problem oti ndol birkama south na problem jamal lesoro kabrin na border to na senefengol to na marché to ani na loptano to anunte multi mialo mbadu ko la loptano to sanji woro anu nalo ne mimba kering mimun na problem oti mba mal min ka fa loptano to na musol ndingol na stop boro min ka manke ambulance ba lola fuel tije na stop na mol soto miale ba mansa kunda ñinin kala be kisi la na jata kendi abunda ko
barka bake so honorable Lamin Jesane incumbent
I think this is a healthy debate I think it's important for the first time we such a platform soto but going back to the electorate mbal be tendula mbal jayla anim viewal min bije one thing min kumata bake ñinnamu parliamentary election is very important and parliament is the second arm of the government which is very very key. Among legislation doko damati, but the oversight is very important. And besides, it's the same parliament mi alonko adlaga bangola na flow tala ministry nimbundaldo. Dokola ke infrastructural development omange parliamentarian dokoti. But min kumayata ngajelle dino minister excellent samana jang.
Abaraka bake honorable. Well, I'm afraid we have to cut it here. But
thank you so much,
as the rule dictates, at the end of the debate, we expect the debaters to acknowledge each other with a handshake or an elbow bump. I mean,
I will start. No problem.
I will end this program here. Well, viewers, thank you so much for watching this live broadcast. Do join us tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be here with Banjul South constituency on behalf of the production team and everyone here at QTV. We wish you a blessed Ramadan and we say Ramadan Mubarak. Bye bye.